Hi guys, everybody, welcome back to Animal Adventures with Jordan, our Tuesday, Thursday sessions at noon. Now this week we're going to feature our American alligators on property, and we have 3 in total, every one of them being a rescue either from frat houses or bad situations or kept illegally as pets here in New York State. Now this first guy in my hands, his name is CJ. He's one of our original rescues, and he was actually found at a local park, CFJ Park in Johnson City, and now he has been residing with us for a couple years. So first things first about alligators, they're a member of the Crocodilian family. Now, of course, there are 4 members of the Crocodilian family. We have alligators. What else? Crocodiles. Give me one more. The gharial, which is the very hard one. That's the crocodilian with a long snout designed for catching fish. And there's one more. It's got the attitude of a crocodile, but the body size of a smaller alligator. The caiman. Good job. So our crocodilians are crocodiles, alligators, caiman, and the gharial. Now in the United States we have 2 different crocodilians. We have the American alligator and the American crocodile. Many people don't know that. The American crocodile inhabits more of your southern and hotter tropical areas, where your American alligator can actually be found throughout Texas, along the Gulf, of course throughout Florida, all the way up the Carolinas, and of course Georgia. We have some Georgia people here today, don't we? All right, very good. Back home now, right? So excellent. So neat thing about American alligators, and quite often we try to feature the conservation efforts needed to save some of the animals we have. The American alligator is a success story of what captive management programs can do for animals. Back in, I believe it was 1973 maybe, the Endangered Species Act put the American alligator on their list. They were just about wiped out in the United States. We were overhunting them, and why did we hunt them? Obviously, for these beautiful leather hides. So what had happened is we had poached them, we had hunted them to dangerous, critical level populations. So what happened is they actually turned to alligator farmers to assist with this. And through captive management programs with those farmers, what they had to do was produce X amount of eggs per year, and a percentage of every clutch, which is what you call a group of eggs, was actually returned to the wild. And I believe that practice might still happen today. But that's how we bumped those numbers back. So I believe it was 1987, they were removed from the Endangered Species Act, and now there is no concern, or at least concern, for the American alligator. So when people say, what good do zoos do? What good do captive management programs do? The American alligator is a perfect example of what we do right. Now moving on, let's talk about their size and the names we call them and so forth. A male alligator can reach somewhere up around 16 feet in length. That's long. That's from that pole you're standing on there all the way to this pole over here. That's about 16 feet. And they can get up to about 1,000 to 1,300 pounds. They are big animals. Now, what do you call a male alligator? It is called a bull. Very good. So it's called a bull alligator. Now our females are a little bit smaller. They're going to average about 9 to 10 feet, but they can also obtain those very high weights without any issue. Now a baby alligator, of course, they come out of eggs, little hatchlings. Now alligators, many of you probably don't know, are phenomenal mothers. They're one of the best mothers out there, and especially in the reptile world. I just got ran over by tortoises. You can catch that down there. All right. It's not your segment yet, guys, eventually. All right. So coming back up, now what happens is that male and female alligators will mate. Mom will find a comfortable spot, and she uses her legs, her feet, to dig a nest. Now they have claws, but these claws are very soft. They're not sharp like a canine or a feline for defense. They're very soft, and they're made for pushing them along the muddy bottoms of waterways and also digging these nests in the sand and the dirt. Now what happens is mom deposits that big clutch of eggs. She then buries them back up with the earth and leaf matter and other stuff on the ground, and what happens is that nest incubates those eggs. Now, if we have a very hot nest, temperatures are ranging above 90 degrees, quite often you'll get all males. If the temperatures are too low, you'll get all males. But if you stay nice and comfortable levels, 83, 85, 88 in there, you're going to see a nice mix of males and females. That's true for many of the egg-laying reptiles of the world. So now what happens is mom guards that nest. She protects it with her life. What might come after a nest of eggs? That's going to be wild pigs, raccoons, even birds. They'll forage through there, try to get those eggs and make a quick meal out of them. Mom protects that nest by charging out of the water and attacking just about anything that comes in her way. Now, after that period of time of incubation, those eggs hatch, but they're underground. How does Mom know? The babies call out. Now, I'm going to get close and try to do this for you. It's this odd chirping noise, and she can hear that. And she goes back up to her nest, and very carefully, she digs out all of those babies. She lays next to that nest, opens up her mouth just like this, and those babies jump in her mouth. She then carries them down to the waterways and releases them. Now, mind you, she's still their mother at that point in time, but honestly, at that point, they are susceptible to predation from many other animals, including other alligators. So Mom gives them a good start, and then they're on their own. Now, let's talk about their bodies a little bit. First things first, you can see those sharp, tiny teeth in there, and I believe there's around 80 or 90 sharp, tiny little teeth. Now, the neat thing about these guys is they're much like sharks. They never run out of teeth. When they lose a tooth, they always grow a new one. Now, moving on, we can check out their eyes. Now, their eyelids can actually recess in line and below the skull line, and that protects them. When they engage a prey animal and prey for these guys or just about anything in the wetlands or the waterways of Florida and throughout the ranges there, they can recess those eyeballs down to protect them, and they shut them, and they have no damage to that area. Now, another neat thing about their eyes is they actually wear alligator goggles, all right? Now, they have eyelids just like us that go up and down, but they also have a second eyelid that goes sideways, and it's transparent. When they're underwater, that transparent eyelid shuts, and that's what they use to see without issue. Now, keep your camera steady, keep your fingers back. I'm going to try to show you that eyelid here. Open up, CJ. There it is, and he's going to open it shortly. There it is, a nice slow open for you. So when I come around in a little bit, I'll try to show everybody that as well. Now, moving on from there, obviously this jaw, this power is intense. Now, alligators and crocodiles, they have all the power in the world when they need to chomp down on their animal prey, but they have no power when they open their mouths. They lack that muscle. So when you see people wrestle alligators and crocodiles, they use their hands to hold those mouths shut, because literally 2 fingers can keep their mouth shut without any resistance, all right? It's very weak in that sense, but the chopping ability is where they have that strength. Moving down, we can talk about this body. It's extremely armored. Who here likes dinosaurs? All right, these guys are just like dinosaurs. Their skin, it's rough and tough on top, and that protects them from the sun and other animals, but their bellies are baby, soft and smooth, all right? These soft baby bellies allow them to slide down muddy riverbanks, what we call alligator slides, to give them a quick egress, or excuse me, degress back into the water. Now, other neat things about them are these tiny little legs. Now, yes, they can lift their bodies off the ground, but eventually they reach a weight where it's very hard to sustain that, so they do more of a little wiggle worm approach on the earth, because obviously they're more at home in the water. Now, the power is also in their tail. Now, this tail here is full of bone and muscle. Now, what that does is it allows them to swim through the water at great speeds, but it also allows these animals to jump up out of the water to grab a prey animal and go back down. Now, if ever confronting an alligator or crocodile on land, now mind you, a crocodile will eat you. Crocodiles see you as prey. Alligators, relatively harmless. They take down much smaller prey animals than us. That's why you rarely hear about attacks on humans unless it is breeding season and so forth, or they have a nest that they're protecting. So now what happens if you're behind an alligator and they feel threatened? They can use this tail as a whip. What they can do is actually swing that tail and fracture your leg. They can break the leg with one foul swoop, which then knocks you down, and guess what? You're now on their level, all right? So it evens the odds out a little bit. Now, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna bring out a smaller alligator for you to meet, because they are quite cute when they are hatchlings. Now, this next one we're gonna bring out, this one was surrendered to us about 2 months ago? About 2 months ago from the New York State DEC, one of those other rescue situations we're involved with. So everybody say goodbye to CJ. Bye. All right, he likes to wave goodbye, 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 good, 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 all right. He'll come back out. Don't you worry. Excellent. Even alligator babies are cute, right? So here is a baby, a little bit bigger than a hatchling. Now a neat thing also is their color change. When they're hatchlings like this, they have a lot of yellow and green in the body. Now as they get older and mature, that softens and they become almost black or brown in appearance. Very good. Now if we can open up that mouth for you, there are tiny little razor teeth in there. There we go. Tiny little razor teeth, and right now you're also looking at a big flat tongue. Now that big flat tongue serves a big purpose also. When they are consuming these prey animals in the water, you wonder how in the heck are they not drowning themselves, all this water running down their throat and so forth. There's actually a flap attached at the back of the throat that can seal shut, and then as they bring that prey animal up out of the water and they consume it, that flap opens, it keeps the water out, keeps the prey animal going down. So they are highly adapted and evolved to live in their environment. Now one more thing about that environment and why it's so important that we protected the American alligator and brought them back is they play a very important role in the ecosystem. They are an apex predator. What does that mean? Anybody know? Apex predator means really nothing takes them out. They're at the top of that food chain. These guys keep a lot of other prey animals in balance, but also they create what we call alligator wallows or pools, which other organisms in that ecosystem also use for housing and so forth. So they play a very important role in the natural environments that they do inhabit. All right, so that's a lot of information. Am I forgetting much?
I don't think so.
One more neat thing, vocalization. These guys do make sounds. When males are trying to call to their females to court them during the breeding season, what they'll do is they bellow, and it's a very deep, bassy bellow. We can barely pick it up on our ears, and what you'll actually see is the vibrations on their back. You'll see the water dancing off their backs. That's how you know that they're calling. And of course, they will do it above water, audibly as well, and it's almost like a deep bellowing. I don't know, think of a very interested male alligator. That's what it sounds like. But it's this deep bellowing sound, which can be very intimidating if you're not knowing what exactly it is. So I think on that note, we're gonna wrap things up. Again, American Alligators from Animal Adventure Park. Tune in again on Tuesday around noon for our next Animal Adventures. Thank you guys.